Welcome to the HMO Property Show. By investors, for investors. Catch us weekly as we discuss all things cash flow positive property investing. Whether you're a seasoned investor, a new landlord, or just curious about property investing, this is the podcast for you. Sponsored by the Co-Living Collective, your trusted partner in creating vibrant and sustainable shared living experiences. Visit us at colivingcollective.com.au to learn more.
Welcome back to the HMO Property Show. I'm your host Neil Gibb, and today I'm going to take you through my 17 top real estate software programs that we use, not every day, but we use them within our business. We've used them from the early stages when we first got into real estate back in 2014 up to platforms that we use on a daily basis within the business. I'm going to take you through them. I'm going to give you a little bit of a high-level overview on how we use them and what we use them for. Hopefully you get some value from them. Hopefully you get to find some little bit of software that's out there that you don't use now but potentially can use in the future. And if there's any that I've missed, please reach out, let me know. If there's any that you think are better than the ones that I bring in this podcast, again, let me know. I'd love to hear about them, because these softwares make everybody's life easier. Number 17 is actually a really interesting one, which we've only just been introduced to. I haven't had the pleasure and time and headspace to really sit down and play with it to its full capacity. However, I think it is going to be a really good software, which is potentially going to take over software number 2. So, number 1, it's the old tried and tested favourite in Western Australia. It's realestate.com. If you're over east, you might use Domain more than you use realestate.com, but over here in the West, realestate.com is probably used on a daily basis within our office. I've used it since 2014 when I first got into real estate. And what I love about it is you can check, obviously, what's for sale on the market. More importantly, what's sold, because when we're looking for comparable sales and what we want to pay for a property when we purchase it, we also want to know what's sold in the area that's comparable to what we want to buy, so we're not overpaying, and if anything, we're paying under market value for it. Apart from the sales side of things, you can also obviously look for rentals. Now, we've used this in the early days to look for head leases, rent to rents, which I've done plenty of podcasts on now, or spoken about in plenty of podcasts. The best way that I like to look for rent-to-rent head leases is to go into the rent bar or the rental section, put my filter onto 5 bedrooms or more, and then put it onto map view. And then I like to look in areas, and I also put the maximum price, like no more than $700 a week, because it's really hard to make the margin that you need to make on a head lease if you pay more than $700 a week. And then that filters out a lot of the properties that you don't need or can't use, and you're looking at 5 and 6 bedroom properties only. And that way you can really narrow it down and focus on what you need to focus on and get rid of all the noise in the background. Now, there's also some really good suburb statistics inside realestate.com that you can pull, and you can see like what the demographic of the suburb is, the age of the people that work there or live there, sorry. It's just a really good tool when you dig in there and start playing around with it, and that's why it's number 1. And by the way, these aren't in any particular order. I just put that one as number 1 because it's probably my fave. It's probably the easiest user interface as well, and just really easy to play with and understand. So number 2 is probably another one that a lot of people have used in real estate, is RP Data. RP Data under the CoreLogic banner is really good for, off-market opportunities, finding out homeowners information and also histories on houses, any DAs that have gone in, any build permits, any alterations, any upgrades, historical owners. It's also good for historical photographs as well, so you can see if something's changed over time. You can also pull comparable market analysis reports from there as well. So if you want to approach an off-market opportunity, you can print out a CMA and take that with you. So you've got ammunition for when the seller is trying to say, my property is worth $1.5 million, but you've got comparable market analysis to say it's only worth $750. So if we're talking $1.5 million, we might as well stop talking about this investment right now. Now, the other good thing in RP Data It's got some good mapping tools in there. They're not the best, but it's got some pretty good stuff. You can, measure the size of a block. You can measure the size of the back garden roughly, so you can find out if you can potentially do a subdivision in there. Then you obviously need to survey the block to get it finalized and more finite information from there as well. So RP data is number 2. Number 3 is rewa.com. Now, rewa.com, I like it because they've got the fingers on the pulse, and they've probably got the most up-to-date information from the Perth market. And what I like to click on is I go to rewa.com, and then on the right hand side of the toolbar I look it says for sale, for rent, sold, find agents, commercial, business, rural, insights. Click on insights and it gives you the Perth market insight market snapshot. You can see all the sales and rental information on there, which is good. You can also see listing and rental trends. And as we record this podcast today, right, I should have shared my screen on this one, but there was a time in Perth when the median selling days was 58 days, and that was in August 2019. 58 days on average to sell a property. Now we are in November 2023, and the median days to sell a property is 8. It's absolutely staggering. So rewa.com has some really good statistics. There's also an interactive mapping tool in there as well, which you can use, and you can see all sorts of different sort of statistics that you want to pull from different suburbs. Right, number 4 was going to be Intramaps, but Intramaps is an interactive mapping tool that can help you find out the zoning and planning of a property, any overlays, any information that you need. You generally need to log into the council website and then go into their Intramaps mapping system. But if you go on the PlanWA website, which is under the Department Planning, Lands and Heritage website, just type in PlanWA. Their mapping tool is even better than Intramaps, so that is why I picked PlanWA over Intramaps. Now you can zone in on all of these properties. You can put an address in, for instance, and you can find out everything you need to find out about the planning of that property, operational properties, policies, heritage, government sewerage policies, DPLA managed lands, coastal plans and documents, Aboriginal communities, structure plans, state planning policies. Everything is in this one website. It is absolutely mint when you're looking at developing land. So that is PlanWA. Number 5, I use this a lot in the olden days when we first started getting into HMOs, and we were looking at established properties that we could convert into HMOs, but a lot of properties didn't have floor plans. So number 5 is Magicplan. Now Magicplan is an app that you can download for your smartphone. And I'm going to put a caveat over that. I know it definitely works on Apple. I'm not an Android user, so I can't guarantee that it's definitely on Android, but it's definitely on Apple. And you can essentially, this is how cool this thing is, blew me away when I first started using it. You can stand in the middle of a room and point, obviously switch the app on, and then it has kind of like a, like a triangle that you put the center point in the corner of the room, and then it picks up the 2 bottom lines of the wall, and it also picks up the vertical side of the wall, and it takes a snapshot of that corner. So when it lines up, it uses technology to kind of line up where the corners is. You press record or hit, I can't remember what the button says now, and then you stay stood in the middle of the room and you turn to the next corner of the room, and as you're turning, it's measuring the length of that room from that first point that you took that snapshot. So let's say the wall's 3 meters, you go into the other corner, you hit save again, and it measures them 2 points of that wall, and it also measures the 2 uprights as well. Then you turn to your right again, measuring the corner, measuring the other corner, and then you close the loop. And you can do that all the way through the house, and it actually creates these little floor plans that you can then go into the app, and you can move them all around to make sure they all line up properly. And it's pretty accurate. It's pretty accurate. I don't know exactly how accurate, but I've used that 25, 30, maybe 40 times on established properties that we purchased to convert into HMOs. And I've been there, I've took the floor plan there, and then I've took it back to my office, and I've used them dimensions to do the things that we needed to do, and it's worked very well. So Magicplan, check it out, guys. It's an absolute cracker. Number 6 and number 7 are both from BMT. So we've had Bradley Beer on the podcast. Brad spoke about how BMT help with depreciation on new build and established properties. But they have, number 6 is the PropCalc from BMT. So the PropCalc is pretty good. It can help you basically calculate the cash flow or the negative cash flow if you're into that stuff. If you are, you probably listen to the wrong podcast. But if you are into positive cash flow and you want to know how your property is going to work for you and the depreciation that you can claim on it, you can go into BMT PropCalc and you can put all the information in there, and it can give you a sort of rundown on what that property is going to do for you before you purchase it. Pretty cool little tool. Now, on the other side of PropCalc, we've also got number 7, which is BMT Cost Calc. Now, BMT Cost Calc, because BMT do depreciation schedules on new build properties, they are in the know when it comes to how much a property is going to cost to build in a certain area, at a certain age, and from what size, what type of finish. So it is only an estimate, but it will help you guys because they've probably got the finger on the pulse when it's coming to these sort of things. So you can type in there, I want to build a 4 to 8 level unit complex, including lift, concrete structure, ground floor parking in Perth. And it's going to be a new build, so a 2023, and it's going to be a medium size. And the floor area is going to be 450 square meters. And they will spit out that it's going to cost between 1.4 and 1.9 million to build that property, which is quite cool. If you put in a 4 bedroom, full brick home, level block, 2 level, unique design. Let's find something a little bit different. Let's go for 4 bedroom, 4 brick home, level block, single level, unique design in Perth. And we're going to go for a medium finish, and we're going to go for 250 square meters. Minimum $760,000, maximum $1 million, and that excludes GST. So it's a good little tool to have a play around with. You just type in BMT Cost Calc and you will find all the information you need there. Number 8 is Stash. Now, this software is really, really cool. In fact, I'm going to try and get the guy that created this on my podcast because he's from Perth. So Stash digs into a piece of software called Price Finder, and it helps you can put filters in there. So let's say you're looking for off-market opportunities, and we recorded the podcast with Joe Macri. Joe Macri actually introduced me to Stash, the software. You essentially say, I want R40 sites in Perth that have never been developed. So an R40 site that's, 700 square meters or bigger, and it will give you a map of all the R40 sites that are 700 square meters or bigger. And then you can actually pull a report from that software of all of them properties, and then you can send letters out to them all and see if they want to sell that property off market without engaging an agent. Cool little software. Really, really cool software. It's been a while since I've used it because we haven't done much off-market stuff for probably 2 years now. Off-market development sites, may I add. We do still get opportunities in the buyer's agency space for HMOs, established properties. But development sites, we kind of parked it for a little bit because it's just too hard to make a project stack up. Number 9. Now, a lot of people reach out to me asking for how do we do a feasibility? What software do you use for your feasibilities? And, can you help us do them? Now, for years, we've used like Excel spreadsheets, and we've got some of them from mentors and coaches, which have been good. But what we've found is when you're submitting a feasibility to a lender and you want to borrow $2 million or $3 million from them to do a development project, and you're presenting an Excel spreadsheet, it raises eyebrows and it raises red flags. So what we've been using in the business for quite a while now, with my business partner Troy is an absolute wizard on this software. It's called Deavfeas. Or it's also, I know it is Feastudy. So if you type in Feastudy, F-E-A study, or Deavfeas, D-E-V-F-E-A-S, it's a feasibility software that you can just use nice and easily on your Mac or your PC. It does everything from single story houses right through to 4, 5, 6 unit developments, 15-story SDA apartment blocks, stuff like that. Prints out a really good feasibility that you can take to your lenders, and to be honest, a lot of lenders actually use this software as well to make sure that projects stack up. Number 10, before we're doing any feasibilities or when we're digging into suburbs to find out if we should do a project, we need to know suburb data. Now, I've given you the likes of RP data, realestate.com, etc., Rewa.com. But number 10 is Home ID. Now, Home ID is a kind of demographic resource center, they like to call themselves. It's got hundreds of demographic resources, including community profiles, community views, population forecast, economic profiles, housing monitors, ebooks, guides, webinars, and training resources. It's a really cool website. There's lots and lots of information on there. That's Home ID, home.id.com.au. You can spend days in this website if you want to. Does everything: population forecast, economic profiles, housing monitors, social atlas, community profiles, community views. Really good. It's really easy to use. It looks really good as well. The way they present the data or the data is very easy to digest and very easy to understand. Number 11 is SQM Research. Again, it's another data software. Helps you research the property market, and they've got a free section and they've got a paid section, but the free section is really good and gets them some really good information from there as well. So SQM Research, you can check auction results, upcoming auctions, sold records, total property listings, asking property prices, vacancy rates, weekly rent listings, rental yields, asking rent prices, and demographics. I really like digging into demographics of suburbs to see who lives there. I like to see what they earn, how much the houses that they live in, or what they earn compared to the houses that they live in, to find out if they're in housing stress, because then we know we can provide some affordable accommodation into that suburb. Number 12, keeping up with the data trend at the minute, we are looking at Microburbs. Microburbs, again, it's another pretty cool sort of data pack that we can use to make informed decisions. You can do suburb investment reports. There's all sorts of heat maps. They apparently use over 1 billion comprehensive insights, 5,000 plus suburb deep dive, and over 40,000 people are using it currently. It's a pretty good little piece of software. Again, between that and Home ID, you could spend hours and hours on the internet going through these websites and trying to find demographics or finding information for you to make informed decisions to do development or build property. Number 13 is Google Earth. Now, I like Google Earth. It's better than Google Maps. Google Earth, that you used to need to download it to your actual computer, and it used to be a external piece of software. Now it's all online. It's just a web browser. It's a lot faster. It's a lot better. It's a lot easier to use. What I like about Google Earth is you can check time-lapse videos for suburbs. So if you want to find out when somebody knocked something down, or when someone built something, or see like the changes in your property, you can go back and do all that stuff. It's got mapping tools on there. It's got contour tools on there. It's a pretty cool piece of software. Again, more for just having to play around with. You can also do, you can drop a pin in the map and then draw a circle around that pin for like 2 kilometers to find out what's in that 2 kilometer radius of that property. Again, really good for when you're doing HMOs. Number 14, where would we be without the Australian Bureau of Statistics? It's a minefield, this website, though. You can get lost in there very easy. You can spend days in there not finding what you want, or you can also jump straight in there and understand how to get there really easy. All depends on your skill set and what you're looking for as well. But the Australian Bureau of Statistics is a really good website, and you know, a lot of these websites will be pulling their data from that website anyway, so it's a good one to get into. Number 15 is Dial Before You Dig. Now, Dial Before You Dig, if you're doing a development, is really cool. Again, As part of your due diligence that you need to do, you need to know where the sewer, water and power is outside of the lot boundary. Now, dial before you dig does not show you what's inside your lot boundary. It only shows you what's outside of your lot boundary, so you'll be able to see where the main power lines are. You'll be able to see where the main sewer is. You'll be able to see where your water and gas runs and stuff like that, your Telstra runs are. So what you'll do on dial before you dig is you put your address in of the property that is of interest to you, whether you're going to develop it in the future or whether you already own it. Put the address in, hit go, and then about 10 minutes later it'll send you an email from all of the interested stakeholders, and you'll get all the information that you need, and it'll present it in a nice little map. It'll show you the property of interest that you've got. It's called 10 Smith Street, and it'll show you all of the essential services that service that property and the surrounding properties as well. Really, really cool. Number 16, this one might shock a few people. Facebook Marketplace. Although it's not technically a real estate software program, it has been an absolute godsend for us with room rentals, and we've actually found some really good property deals on here as well. I'm seeing more and more people trying to sell property on Facebook Marketplace, which is interesting. And we're actually looking at one. We've either already looked at it or we're looking at it very soon, which was a really, really interesting property. So every now and again, Facebook Marketplace and Gumtree, the first renovation deal that we did, or the first owner joint venture deal that we did, was from Gumtree. So sometimes you can get some real good gems on there. You just have to be right place, right time. And then, last but not least, this is a software which we got access to just recently. And this kind of packages in quite a lot of all of the other softwares. It's called MNG Access. And MNG are land surveyors that have been operating in Perth for over 30 years now. And they've been collecting data points for over 30 years. So when we talk about RP data and all the things that you can do inside RP data, you can also do these inside MNG Access. And we had a trial of this not too long ago. It was really, really impressive. The reason that we just haven't took it any further is just because we haven't been doing many developments at the minute. So we're not actively using it right now, but we are going to get back into it once development starts stacking up and feasibility start looking a bit more friendly. So I hope that helps, guys. My 17 top real estate software programs. Number 1, realestate.com. Number 2, RP Data. Number 3, rework.com. Number 4, PlanWA. Number 5, Magicplan. Number 6, BMT PropCalc. Number 7, BMT Cost Calc. Number 8, Stash. Number 9, Feastudy or Deavfeas. Number 10, home.id. Number 11, SQM Research. Number 12, Microburbs. Number 13, Google Earth. Number 14, the Australian Bureau of Statistics. Number 15, Dial Before You Dig. Number 16, Facebook Marketplace and Gumtree. And number 17, MNG Access. There you go, guys. Hope that helps. Let me know if you've got any other ones which I should probably look into. Let me know if you start using any of these softwares and they make a difference to your investment journey. And more importantly, all the best with your investing. And remember, every master was once a disaster and every winner was once a beginner.
Thanks for watching. Make sure you tune in the same time next week so you can stay up to date with all cash flow positive property updates.